Hi, welcome to today's series. We are going to be using the foam roller, a really quick, simple mobility drill that you can do anytime you want to, when you just feel like you need a little bit of movement in your body. So we're going to start today with some releasing work. So grab your foam roller and we're going to go into a series on our legs. So beginning at the top of the bumpy bit on the side of your leg and then walking yourself out. Now you can do this with a single leg, using one foot on the ground, or you can do your double legs. So we're just going to go for a nice sort of seesaw kind of feeling as you go into opening up the sides of your leg position. Roll a little bit towards the front, roll a bit towards the back, and just changing the angle of the way you're rolling is going to give you a new sensation and experience down the legs. Let's swing it over towards the other side. So you'll notice that I'm not very particular with the rolling here. I'm not taking it slow. I want to move through the movement. I don't want to feel the excruciating pain that is sometimes involved with rolling out your leg. On the front side, on the back side. So just alternating between those, really changing how you're holding yourself in space. There's so much going on here. We don't have to be too pedantic about it. From here, we're going to take ourselves into a little stretch for our shin area. So I like to tell people that there's not a lot of muscle on the fronts of the shin, which means it's going to feel a little bit tender, but you're not going to bruise yourself, I promise. So from here, we're just going to send ourselves with our roller towards our feet and then taking it towards your knees. So this is quite a strong position just as your first warm-up, but it really does get the blood flowing and some movement happening. If you notice that the roller is moving further and further away from you, reposition your body so that you have better control of the movement. So trying to keep the upper body steady as you move your knees to the front and to the back. And then from there, we're going to take the roller to the back of our ankles. Now you do need to be able to sit like this comfortably. If you can't sit in this position, then this one's possibly not going to feel all that great. You can alter it, however, if you would like to. Sit up onto your toes. So both of these have very different feelings if you are on your toes or if you're flat here. I do have a great playlist of the foam roller releases that I do, which includes some of the ones we've already done, which goes into more detail and a little slower approach for the moves if you want to do that. So just moving your body from side to side, just getting a little rock. You're going to move the roller up about mid-calf, so just where that lower formation of your calf muscle is coming into play. And again, just a tilt from one side to the other. This is great for releasing a lot of things that are happening in the lower chain of the body. And you'll be surprised at how much tension the calves hold. Coming up, we take the roller right to the backs of the thighs, and then as you sit down, you'll be right in that deep, deep belly of your calf muscle area. So there are, particular calf muscles that are living at the back of your leg, but there are also foot muscles, believe it or not, that live behind the calves. So there's a lot going on with that lower body chain. And then from there, we're going to release out of that. Taking the roller towards the short position and then going for a roll of your back body. So starting with your head supported by your hands, you're going to lift your hips up and roll towards the top of the shoulder line, and then coming forward again, that seesaw image. Your bottom goes down, your head comes up, your bottom goes up, your head goes down. So as we're doing these moves, again, it's just to get a little bit of opening of muscles and space around the back of your body or whatever area we're in, so that you've got available range of movement when we want to move our body through space. So one more time in both directions, down or up or down, wherever you began. And then you're going to rest your pelvis onto the ground, relax your feet to the floor, and then still with that lovely support of your head, we're going to go over the curve of the roller and then bringing the head and shoulders forward. So doing this movement, depending on your body, you may not go as deep, but what you want to get is that feeling like you were just sort of like a tablecloth or a sheet just draping over the bed surface. It's a very simple, very easy kind of move here. Your breathing needs to stay natural. We don't want to have harbored breathing. We're going to do one more time, just opening up into our upper back, opening through the lungs, exposing the height muscle. And yes, it's an organ, but it's also a muscle, the height. And then coming forward. From here, we're just going to go onto our side. Now, what we did on our legs, we're going to do through our arms. So beginning at your elbow and just roll to the underarm and roll back up. So in order to do that, you're going to notice that your body is going to go into a little side bend kind of movement. And then we'll do that one more time. And then you're going to end up lying down with that underarm positioned right into the roller's edge. Take both hands laced behind your head, aim the top elbow toward the roller, and then aiming it toward the ceiling. For this one, we want to keep the anchoring of your lower elbow on the ground surface so that you're not sort of feeling unsupported through your neck. And as you go backward, unlike the normal book openings that we do, you're going to get a little bit of extension as you go back, which means there'll be an opening kind of feeling across your chest rather than just pure rotation that we normally go through. Last time as we take it all the way toward the back and then bringing yourself forward again. Let's spin around and we're going to do the other side. So again, your setup is have staggered legs. Begin at the top of the elbow and then roll towards your underarm and then roll back up. So I like to use my hand on the ground just to support the returning up because there's quite a lot of weight going down through that arm side. The other thing this reminds me of is if you know the exercise on the reformer called the Cleopatra, it's a very similar kind of movement. Last one as we go out and in. All right, so we're going to make our way back again with the roller underneath our underarm area. Tuck your two knees up towards you, hands laced behind your head, and we're going to add in our little book opening. So remember your lower elbow is staying on the mat as an anchor or a kickstand. And as we stretch our body backward, you're going to get all these great openings, but really the most benefit is going to be in the underarm area, around the back of the shoulder blade. There's some really important muscles in that area, and they don't often get this kind of mobilization or pressure points, shall we call it. And then one more time as we send our chest up for the ceiling, and then returning yourself all the way back. So from here, we're just going to leave that roller where it is, and we'll spin ourselves around and just place the feet down on the other side of it. As we come down to the floor, we're just going to lie down onto our back and pick the hips up and place the roller now underneath the sacrum. The sacrum is that flat part of your lower back area. So you're not in the curve of the lower back, you're on the pelvis itself. Bringing your knees up into the air, keep your feet dropped, and we're just going to turn the legs from one side to the other, just getting a massage out of the back of the hip line. And as you go from side to side, you're trying to do your best to keep your knees together and just getting a nice deep rotation, twist, and the shoulders staying level on the floor underneath you. Making sure that you never go so far that you find it difficult to bring things back to the midline. And then one more time to each side. We're just going to enjoy a lovely leg stretch here. So lowering your right foot to the floor, hold over your left thigh or shin and pull in. So if you've got the range in your leg, we can straighten the leg out so that you get a nice gentle pull down the front side of your thigh. Just making sure though that you don't feel like you're being arched away in order for that leg to be long. So everyone feels things differently, and it's really up to you to kind of understand the language that your body is talking. We're going to move the leg off to the left side, the bent knee side, and then pull up just a little deeper towards your underarm, and that's going to give you a new sensation of stretch down at the front of the hip area. So slightly different to the first version. Whenever we do deeper stretches like this, it's important that you still breathe in and out without sort of like holding the breath or gasping out. And then bringing that back in, we're going to switch our leg holds. So right knee traveling in, holding over the front of the shin, and then explore. Maybe you need to keep the knee bent on the side, or maybe you can have that leg lengthen long. So two sides are often very different to each other, as you know by now. So just making sure that whatever is coming up for you is a good sensation. Moving your knee off to the right side and then a gentle curling or pulling it up towards your underarm. So all of these things is you're trying to do it from the actual joint perspective. So don't try and pull your shoulder to meet your knee. We're just getting as far as we can in our bodies.
And then from there, we're going to bring everything back, bring both knees up. So this next movement, we're going to start with just one foot lowering down and bringing it up, and then the other leg down and up. So you can keep going with that if you feel more stable for your back. Otherwise, give it a try with the two legs. So when we do things with double legs, the weight is a little bit more intense, so you've got to have more control around your center. So if you put your fingers at your hips and at your lower ribs, what you'd notice hopefully is that that space stays the same without this excessive push of your belly forward and without the curve of your lower back getting more exaggerated. So we'll do about 2 more like this, just getting a nice easy movement of the legs down and up. And then last one, returning in. So if you can manage both feet to the floor at the same time, do that. And then from there, we'll take the roller away from the back of us. So from here, we're just going to take our feet to the top of the curve of the roller, a nice easy transition. Send the arms behind you and then roll your body up, pushing the roller just a little bit away in order to get up. So we're going to change the orientation of your roller now into a lengthened position. So making sure that it's nice in the center of your body and the center of your mat. So we're going to sit at one edge and then slide close towards the bottom as you lie yourself down onto the roller. So head is supported, tail is supported, kisses from your dog, and then making your alignment of your legs is really important. So because you're on this unsteady surface, sometimes your natural tendency will be to go wide, but really try and get those feet narrower and knees facing forward over the toes. So sending ourselves into a nice arm stretch. We're going to turn the palms to face upside down. So, and palms to the ceiling. Make sure you keep some part of your fingers touching onto the mat at all surfaces, at all places. So opening your arms out, nice big angel wings flying open. See if you can send your arms as far overhead as you feel comfortable to. And as I mentioned, still making sure that the fingertips are in touch with the floor. And then bringing those arms back down towards your side. Really important. If you lose the contact of the floor, then we're not doing the movement that I'm after. So I want to make sure that there's still some contact, which means your shoulder joint is getting a lot of feedback. So your brain knows the safety of the joint, and we're just working in whatever feels most comfortable for you. We've got 2 more as we do this movement out to the side. And you can start to feel behind you because that roller is sort of pushing slightly into your shoulder blades, where the one shoulder blade is moving freer than the other. Last time as we send the arms all the way around and over the top, and then bringing it all the way back down again. So because this is just our nice series of opening up, we're not going to do many exercises here, but having your elbows touch the floor with the fingers facing up towards the ceiling. Now, for some of you, that might just be a challenge to put those elbows down on the ground because you'll get a stretch across the front of your chest line. So maintaining the straightness of your wrists as you send the arms backward, and maybe you touch the floor, maybe you don't, but those elbows have got to stay in contact with the floor and then bringing the arms back up again. And again, as we spin the upper arm backward in the socket, the fingers are still straight. So we're not bending the wrists to try and touch the floor, right? So it's still the forearm that we're aiming towards the floor surface and up. We'll do that 2 more times as we open the chest even more, getting super stretch across the front of the shoulder towards the upper arm. If you could see the muscles and where they attach, you would make 100% sure that you were stretching this correctly. You can feel it, even if you've never seen the muscles before. And then from here, we're just going to send our arms all the way back down again. We're going to tilt off of our roller to the side and just for a moment, enjoy being on the softer surface underneath you, whether that be your floor at home, carpet, or just a nice squishy mat. So from here, we're going to go off to a side into kneeling just to finish off our little round today. So from this position, we're going to send the roller off out in front of us and placing your hands onto the roller edge. We're going to lengthen the arms all the way out, getting a nice big stretch through those underarms into your upper back. And then bringing yourself forward, lead with the chest bone coming up and drawing the roller back in.
So this is slightly different. As we go out, we're going to create that long line from tail to head. And when we come up, I want you to feel like it's coming up in that curve of your upper back, which means it's an extension-based exercise, not a flexion. We don't round through the upper back. It feels good to do both, but for this movement today, we're really going to train ourselves to feel the strength of our back body as we pull our roller in closer towards us. And then last time, as we stretch ourselves up, remember, never hang in your joints. You don't want to be collapsed down and unsupported. You always want to feel like you've got control of the arm within the socket. All right, from there, we're going to face forward and finish just with a little stretch of your glutes. So however you can sit comfortably in a cross-legged position is where you'll go. Place the roller out in front and then just stretch yourself forward. So you don't have to go very far to get the stretch through the leg or through the back of the hip. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. So when the arms are longer, your stretch is more intense. If you're finding it too intense, bring the roller closer in and place your head down onto it. That's another really great way just to open up through the back of the hip line. Take another breath in and out. And then bring yourself back up again. Now, switch the leg cross. So we all have a favorite way to cross our legs. Yes, believe it or not. And then from there, again, we'll slide the roller out. Do your best to keep as more of a long line position if you can, with your arms reached out so that we're not sort of rounding and taking all the tension in the shoulders. We want that energy in the hip. And again, if you feel like it, bring the roller underneath your forehead and just stay supported over the stretch. And then ease your way all the way back up again. Well, I hope you enjoyed that quick round the roller move of releasing certain things so that you're well set up for whatever it is that you're going to do next, whether that be finishing your day or even beginning your day. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you again in the next video.